Hey, this is Joel Persinger, the gun guy. I'm back out here at the P2K Range, and once again, I'm shooting my trusty rusty Mini 14. Actually, it's not the least bit rusty, but I'm going to shoot it again today. We shot at the desert the last time, and I didn't have a rangefinder with me, and the target was out there, I don't know, about 400 yards. So it was a little silly for me not to bring a rangefinder. I apologize for that. We're at the P2K Range today, where the distances are actually measured, and I know what they are. So we're going to take this and shoot it at 50 yards and 100 yards today, and we're going to try a couple of different kinds of ammo. The other thing you'll notice is I put a red dot on it because in the indoor range I see a little better with an illuminated sight, and so hopefully that will improve my shooting somewhat. Remember, it is me behind the gun, and you just never know when that happens. But we're going to shoot it with 55 grain ammo and 62 grain ammo, and we'll see if that makes a difference in the way the gun shoots, because it does have a 1 in 7 twist, which means it tends to like the heavier bullets. Now, I've shot 69 grainers through it. It really likes those. I don't know about the 62s. Couldn't get my hands on the 69s today. So we're going to shoot the ones that I've got, and we'll see the difference. I also bought cheap ammo, the cheapest ammo I could get, just because we like to go out and shoot cheap ammo when we're plinking or whatever, don't we? So I thought we'd try it with the cheap ammo first, and then in a follow-up video, I'll get some really good hunting ammo, and maybe a little heavier ones, and we'll see how that works. All right, enough talking. Let's head out on the range.
The Mini 14 is just a terrific rifle. I think I bought this one back in 1989, and it has been a wonderful carbine for me. I've used it for just about everything under the sun, from being a defensive rifle for work. I've hunted with it a little bit, and so on. And so if you want one, I would urge you to get one. Now, in today's video, I didn't worry about point of aim versus point of impact, because the rifle is set up for different kind of ammunition. The issue here was to determine which ammunition had the best group. And that's how you do ammunition selection for your rifle. Don't worry about point of aim versus point of impact until you've selected the ammo, and you do that by shooting different brands and different types until you find the one that gives you the best performance, and then, once you've selected it, you can adjust your sights so that point of aim equals point of impact. That will help you get a good ammo and rifle combination to suit your purposes.
Okay, after shooting the Mini 14 at 50 yards, and I used just cheap Wolf 62 grainers and some 55 grain reloads I picked up. I don't know who reloaded them. You know, it's one of those grab it at the gun show type deals. But I tried the two of them. We'll see what we got. Now, if you look at the base of the target here, here was where I shot with a cold barrel. That's why it says cold B. This is the 55 grain reloads at 50 yards. They were shooting a little low because I sighted the rifle in with other ammunition, and it was dead on. So point of aim was here, and you can see they're shooting a little low, but the group is fantastic. It's an 1.5 inches out of a Mini, so I thought that was pretty good. Then I shot the 62 grain Wolf, which, you know, I'm not going to rag on Wolf ammo. It's cheap and it's fun to shoot and so on, but not nearly as accurate. I let the barrel rest and cool off, and then I shot it with a cold barrel again. As point of aim was here, and I had now shooting a little high where the reloads were shooting a little low, and you see I have a 2 1/4 inch group versus my 1.5 inch group down here. At that point, I just went in and shot the rifle a little bit, heated the barrel up, and then I went ahead and shot the 62 grain Wolves. And my point of aim was right over the shoulder at this exact spot. And with 62 grain Wolf ammo at 50 yards with a very hot barrel, I ended up with a 4-inch group. In fact, it shot a very nice group here, and then the next 3 rounds came down here, and my point of aim was the same every time. And then again, with a very hot barrel, I shot the reloads that I bought, just the 55 grainers, and with a hot barrel with the 55 grains, I ended up with this group, which was 3 1/4 inches, which is, you know, or 3 3/4 inches, by the way. I'm sorry, I messed that up, but 3 3/4 inches. So it's a 1/4 inch tighter than the other group. So you can see that when the barrel heats up on a Mini, just like with any gun, but particularly on the Minis, they get a lot of harmonics, and the group starts to widen up. Now, the interesting part about that is before I put the AccuStrut on the gun, if my point of aim was here, I'd have had a group probably like this, with a cold barrel, and I'd had a group that covered up the entire 9-ring and 10-ring spread out there at 50 yards with a hot barrel. So if you have an old Mini like mine and you want to tighten up the groups a little bit, that AccuStrut will help you a ton. And then typically the gun shoots better with heavier bullets, but in this particular case it didn't for some reason. And that may be because I've kind of been selective about the bullets, about the rounds I put in it, and the particular brand and so on, and I do get better results with that. But in any case, let's take it out on the 100-yard range. We're going to do the same thing, and we'll see what kind of results we get at 100 yards.
Now, the question always comes up, how much ammunition is enough ammunition? And the answer is, you can never have enough ammunition. A gun without ammunition is just a club, and not a very good one. You'd be better off with something designed as a club. So the important thing is to have as much ammunition as you can afford to have for your firearm. Now, a lot of that ammunition, the bulk of it, if you've got thousands and thousands of rounds, may be inexpensive, cheap ammo like this. My suggestion is you have a few hundred rounds of select self-defense ammunition that you know is accurate and performs extremely well in your gun. And then if you have the more likely events, you know, an earthquake or some sort of natural disaster or riot, you're prepared for that. Now, if there's a solar flare and everything goes to pot and electricity goes out and you're on your own for months, well, you've got that stash of thousands and thousands of rounds of cheap ammunition if you need it. And that way you can kind of afford both over time.
Okay, after shooting 100 yards, it confirmed a few things for me. One is what I've always known, and probably what you know about rifles, is that all rifles are finicky about ammunition to a degree. And the combination of the rifle and the shooter are very important, but combination of the rifle and the ammunition are equally as important, because the ammo change is going to change your point of impact as opposed to your point of aim. It's also going to determine how large or how small your groups are based upon the ammo you put through the gun. And in my experience, you could buy 4 rifles all made in the same factory at the same time in the same lot, and they're all 4 going to like a different kind of ammunition. For example, that Mini 14 has specific self-defense ammunition it really likes, and that's what it's dialed in for. I did not change the sights at all. I went ahead and just shot the cheap ammo today to see how much it would change the point of aim versus the point of impact. With the ammunition that it likes, the point of aim and point of impact are right on at 100 yards. But here's the results that we got. Now remember, I was shooting really cheap ammo here. And initially we shot with a cold barrel. I shot the 55 grain reloads with a cold barrel. My point of aim was right here. My point of impact was to the right. And I got a group that measures 4 1/8 inch. Now that was with a cold barrel. Once the barrel heated up, my point of aim was here on the shoulder. And it, again, shot to the right. But my group widened out quite a bit. I actually got taller, which is kind of interesting. And I got a 5 3/4 inch group. Now, with the Wolf cheap 62 grain ammo, my cold barrel shot, point of impact, or point of aim rather, being the X in the middle of the head, was high and to the right. That's where my point of impact was, and I had a 4-inch group at 100 yards. Then I heated up the barrel, shot it quite a bit, and then put the same ammunition in it. My point of aim was over here on the left shoulder, and again, high and to the right. But interestingly enough, I got a smaller group. And I think that verifies something I said earlier, which is with the 1-in-7 twist in that rifle, it just likes the heavier loads. There's not a lot of difference between 55 and 62 grains, but there's apparently enough that it tended to tighten up the group a little bit, and it actually shot a little bit better than the 52 grainers did at 100 yards. All right, so what's the lesson here? One is, be very specific about the ammunition you put in your rifle. And my suggestion is, if you're using the rifle for hunting, then try 2 or 3 different brands of hunting ammunition with the weight of bullet that you need for the particular game animal you're going after. Take it to the range, dial it in, and see which one gives you the best groups and the best performance. And now you've got a good marriage between that particular rifle and that particular ammo. If you're using the gun for self-defense purposes, which is what I have that gun for, and again, we owned a security company, so for a while it was my patrol rifle, then you want to buy high-quality, American-made self-defense ammunition and try several brands and several bullet weights until you get the right combination of the rifle and the ammunition that gives you the best performance and the best accuracy, regardless of what kind of rifle you have. And then load up on that. Maybe you have to buy a little at a time. And you know, you got 500 or 600 rounds, or 1,000 rounds of that, you're in good shape. You got 300 rounds of that, you probably, if you got 200 rounds of that, you're in good shape. Now, I know I'm going to get, comments from, Tactical Tom or whoever who's going to say, yeah, but when the world comes to an end and the crap hits the fan, you're going to have to scrounge and get what you want. Your rifle's going to have to shoot it all. Yeah, okay. I don't know what the likelihood of that is, of the world coming to an end and a society crumbling. I suppose it's possible. I don't know how likely it is. More likely is that we have to face a natural disaster which takes services and so on away, and power and that kind of stuff for a limited period of time. We may have to face a riot situation if you live in a major metropolitan area. I've lived through 2 of them, and I've lived through several natural disasters, which means you need to have a rifle with solid ammunition, defensive ammunition, for a short period of time to fend off looters and other people. Do you need 20,000 rounds for that? Probably not. Is it good to have it? Sure. So if that's what you're concerned about, then I would say have 200, 300, 400 rounds of quality ammunition that really is a good marriage with your rifle. And then if you want to go out and buy the cheapest, 3,000 watt thing of ammo in case the world comes to an end, hey, knock yourself out. Then you're prepared for that too. Anyway, that's the Mini 14. Please like, subscribe, I don't know where the button is, and share us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and so on. And if you get a chance to come out to the P2K range, it's a great range. It's my home range. It's where I teach. Look for me. If you see me, maybe you and I can shoot together. Lastly, if you're not a member of a Second Amendment support group, somebody that's fighting for your rights, I urge you to do that. If there's an organization in your state or an organization locally that you can join, please do. If you'd like to join the National Rifle Association, go right down to the link that's underneath the video. We've put it down there to save you a little money. It'll save you $10. You can join the NRA for a year for less than the cost of 1 box of ammo. Have a great week, and thanks again for watching.